Hello everybody, I am NotPog, and welcome back to another Origin review video. Today, we are covering an Origin that I have been keeping my eye on for a long time, and honestly, it is super cool. The Origin in question is the Raiden Shogun Origin. This Origin is created by Rain from the Origins Discord, but it is also a gateway towards more Origin updates coming into the future. That means that not only is the Raiden Shogun Origin going to come out from Genshin Impact, but also the other Archons and maybe some other future characters, as well as new fun systems with weapons, artifacts, wishes, who knows. But you should definitely check out the project, and I think it's going to become something super cool, and I'll probably be covering the other Origins that come out in the future. So be sure to give Rain some love, and without further ado, let's get into the Origin showcase. So before I begin the Origin showcase, I'm going to show off a few neat things that will complement your Origin as you play. So just like in the game Genshin Impact, you can assign a different weapon to all your characters. So when you select your Origin, you will probably be using one of these weapons depending on your playstyle. So in order to craft each of these weapons, the current 4 ones that are created are Engulfing Lightning, which from the game is the Raiden Shogun's main weapon and complements her the best. But there are other playstyles that you can do, such as with a Diamond Sword and Emeralds, 32 I believe. There we go. The Primordial Jade Wing Spear, each of them with their own traits, as well as the Skyward Spine, and lastly but not least, Staff of Homa, which is another fan favorite. Each of them have their own abilities and benefits for use, and I can get into them in a future video where this is fully updated. Anyways, let's get into the first power. The Raiden Shogun is comprised of 2 beings in one body. A, the current Electro Archon of Inazuma, and the Shogun, the puppet created by A to act as the ruler of Inazuma in her stead. So, like I said, her first power / debuff is Polearm. The Raiden Shogun prefers using polearms. All other melee weapon types deal 60% less damage. So, like I said, these are what classify as polearms. So these are kind of like spears, even though that technically they're just different types of swords. Like it says, you cannot deal as much damage if you're not using a polearm, but honestly, you should probably use a polearm, not only just because it looks cool, but also because it comes with amazing traits with each of them. Let's get into the other powers. For our next power, we have Transcendence, Baleful, and something else that I can't read. You activate this with primary, and the Raiden Shogun unveils a shard of her euthymia, dealing 5 electro damage to nearby opponents and granting herself the Eye of Stormy Judgment for 5 seconds that does coordinated electro strikes with her. The coordinated electro strikes cause a weaker version of elemental reactions. So, in case you haven't played Genshin Impact, because the Origin does not go in depth on this, but like I said, this is a very work in progress Origin and project as a whole. If I basically attack them after I use my primary, it will basically add additional attacks onto whatever I attack. So I also do get this cool visual effect, and it will give them cool reactions. So let's enable some reactions. There are a multitude of reactions that you can create with Electro, but I'm just going to showcase one of them, which is Pyro. That way you guys can check it out and see what other reactions occur, such as with water, wind, ice, all sorts of stuff like that. So this guy should... Oh, please. All right. So now he's on fire, but if I hit him... There we go. As you can see, he gets thrown up in the air, but also takes explosion damage when he reacts. So, for example, in the game, that would be called Overload, and because I combine Electro plus Pyro, which would be fire, it causes extra damage, but also explodes him. Let's get into the second power. So, for the second power, we have Secret Art Mushu Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. Secondary, and you do need 100 energy, which I can get into after this. But Gathering Truths unnumbered and Wishes uncounted. If the Raiden Shogun currently has Transcendence Baleful Omen effect on, which is the ability from before, she'll unleash the Muso no Hitachi and deals 10 AoE electro damage. Using, I'm just gonna say MI, in combat for 7.5 seconds afterward, enabling electro-infused normal attacks defaults to X and charge attacks defaults to C. The normal attacks trigger a lesser form of elemental reactions while charged attacks trigger none. The Raiden Shogun gains energy when attacking using normal and charged attacks, gaining 1 energy for normal attacks and 2 energy for charged attacks. And your bonus energy recharge is 4 times as effective on energy gained this way. Damage dealt by the normal attacks is 5 and charged attacks is 8. Charged attacks have a cooldown of 2.5 seconds and normal attacks have a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. Both of them count as elemental burst damage. This damage dealt by the Muso no Hitachi will be increased based on the number of resolve stacks you have currently, which will be consumed after 10 seconds. And here are some multipliers to summarize how this works, because it is basically just like how it works in the game, but just translated into Minecraft. Basically, you can unleash an ultimate burst, and you can also deal normal attacks, which are quicker, but they deal a little bit less, but also give you a little less energy comparatively to the charged attacks. And basically, if you have your skill activated as well, it also increases the amount of energy you have. And the more energy that you build up using this burst, or the just energy in general beforehand, it will affect your ultimate, which will just give it a different multiplier for how much damage it does. So, relatively pretty simple, but I can see why you can get a little lost. Let's use it. Wow. So as you can see, it did a super strong slash. And it also empowers me and gives me a lot more energy, as well as the attacks that you gain from it. Overall, the visuals are amazing. And combined with this resource pack that you use for the weapons, and just the general utility and damage it can unleash, this is honestly super cool. And like I said, this is very work in progress, so while this origin is a little simple, with the systems and things that Rain is adding in the future, it is going to make this significantly more cool. To the final power / debuff, we have Can't Cook. And if you play the game, you'll know why. She just cannot cook in lore, and it's just a running gag. So in Minecraft, you cannot use furnaces, campfires, or smokers. So a little bit of a hindrance, but you can just use some sort of auto crafter or some golden carrots, because who really needs cooked pork chops or beef anyways? Be sure to check out this project, because this is one I'm actually very interested in. And be sure to download the Origin and check out Rain. And without further ado, I'm NotPog, and I will see you next time. Peace.